that does not count. Yes and guess is not the same thing.
I get yes.
All right. Anyways, we're live. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Hope you're enjoying y'all's day. Uh, I am your host for this episode, Twiggy Stardust, joined by my little Saltuna can, Shadow Panda.
Hey, references.
Yeah, you're my little Saltuna.
Is that because I'm salty?
A little bit. But speaking of that, we are going to talk about the Outer Worlds today, not Wilds. I think in my last video I said Wilds, but it's Outer Worlds. I still believe I said Worlds, but apparently Panda thinks I said Wilds. I will look back that at later. But it's the Outer Worlds. Boy, is this game great. Wouldn't you agree?
It is fantastic.
This game is amazing. I have fallen in love with it. I have already beaten this game. I should say I've beaten the main story. I think you're about probably halfway through, right? Around halfway there.
Yeah, something like that. I'm not super far, but I know I'm still a decent bit.
So for anyone who's watching, we're going to try to avoid all major spoilers for this game. But we are doing impressions, so we might use some examples of maybe some minor things or some side quests. So if you don't want to hear anything about this game, you're trying to be media blackout until you pick up this game, please go check out our other stuff. See what you think about the channel. We will see you guys in the next video. But you have been warned. Starting in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. So let me start with you. So when you first heard about this game, what did you think? Like, did you think this was going to be a clone of Fallout? Like, oh, this will be just like it. Like, I don't think it'll be anything great. Or did you really see the big potential in this game?
So when I first heard about it, it was when you said something,
Mm-hmm.
and I had not heard about it previously. If they did it at E3, I missed it, which is actually really good for me because I got to go into this like, you know, with a fresh mind, things like that. All I knew is Obsidian made it. They made my favorite Fallout. They made the best Fallout. And I just had hopes that they were going to take what they did with Fallout New Vegas and put it in a different IP and just make it what they could.
And that's what I'm seeing here. It's got that flavor to it without being 100% a copy. You know, I like so far. I like the way they handled the skills. I like how they handled creating your character. Um, instead of having like the special that Fallout does, I kind of like the extra, like you can up it or lower it and it just stays there. Like you're not upgrading that big. You're only going to be upgrading your skills from here on out. I like that. Um, I went for a heavy charm character myself. I am very persuasive and I can lie and intimidate anybody. Um, but let's get your impressions of this game. So again, you're about halfway through. So what do you think about it so far? What are the key things that stand out to you the most?
All right, so be mindful. I'm only playing on normal. I didn't want to jump into Supernova right off the bat, especially after hearing what Supernova was. I never played survival in any of the Fallouts, just not my thing. So, with that in mind, I am absolutely dying over this game. This is going to be the best game I have played since. Ooh. Probably The Witcher 3 was probably the last game that just really sucked me in. That was all I wanted to play, all I thought about.
Wow.
Yeah, nothing else that's really come out. There's been some really fun games. You know, I played, maybe Breath of the Wild because I am a huge Legend of Zelda fan. But outside of those two, nothing has sucked me in this much. Nothing has got me just sitting down wanting to play it all the time.
So this is right now your best game of the year. This is your favorite game that's come out this year.
Absolutely, hands down, game of the year 2019, no doubt.
See, I was trying to disagree with you, but I can't think of any other game that's come out this year that's made me just like you as excited to play it. Like I've already beaten this game. I started playing it day one, which was on Friday. We're recording this on Tuesday, the next week. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's about 4.5, 5 days in, and I've beaten it. And I also did normal, but I am starting on the Supernova, which I am enjoying so far. I've barely scratched that surface, but it's already a lot more challenging. Um, which also like that the difficulties. Like you have the easiest difficulty, which they just call story, because it's for if you just want to experience the story, you don't have to worry about anything. And then you go up to as supernova, where your companions can die, and you have to eat, drink, and sleep to survive. You can't ignore that stuff. You can only fast travel to your ship, which is cool. Um, I'm really enjoying the worlds that these guys have created in here. Like literally going to planets, different ships, meeting all these crazy characters. Pavardi, my favorite. Shout out, my best companion is Pavardi. I will say, in my opinion. Um, but even like again, like I felt like in Fallout, even the companions where you had a dynamic with them where you could like fall in love with them or like do their own quest line and maybe grow with these characters. This just feels more personal. Like I feel like I am getting to know these characters so much more. Like I actually like with with example with Pavardi's side quest. Um, I was instantly like, what? I'm supposed to be saving these people on this ship? Fuck that. This girl wants some love, damn it. Like I'm gonna do that. Like I just want to be here for you, girl. Like I actually cared so much that as soon as I was able to do her quest, I would just do it. Because I just wanted to know what happens. It wasn't just I wasn't just thinking like, oh, I need to get through this to get an achievement, or oh, I just need to get through this so I can get some XP. Like I legitimately cared about this side quest. I thought that was really cool. Um, Kind of showing this world that has hope in it, but is in disarray at the same time. And it's kind of hard to do. It seems like nowadays with these games because they're so big and there's just so much that you have to do, so much dialogue, so many different characters. Like it's hard to balance all of those out and make each one of them interesting. But I think that they have done it here from what I have seen so far.
My really big thing about this is the companion thing because even in again, Obsidian made Fallout New Vegas best Fallout. I still feel like the companions there were lacking.
Hmm.
It's like you didn't really get to know your companions. And here, every decision you make, every choice you make, Bavardi or one of the other companions has something to say. Either they're like, Captain, I really appreciate that. That was, I'm glad you said that. Or it's like, I don't agree with that. We could have gone about a different way. They all have their own unique stances on everything. And you really feel like you get to know your companions. And you get to the point where if you really get enveloped, you're like, what will my companion think of this? Because then you don't want to piss them off. You don't want to upset your companions. You want your companions to like you. There's no romance in this. Unlike Fallout 4, you don't get to romance your companions. It's just they're there, but you feel like you have this personal connection with them.
It's true. That's another thing is choice. Speaking on choice, that is probably personally my favorite thing about this game is the actual different choices that you can make in this game. And not even just talking about, oh, I could choose this dialogue and it changes what they say. Like I have literally done quests that I probably was not supposed to do. Like I jumped into middle of quests and finished them and then realized like an hour later when I go talk to somebody else like they were the ones supposed to give me that quest. But it didn't stop me. Like it wasn't saying like, hey, you need to talk to this person first, or you need to find this thing. Like it just let me do it. And by the time I went and talked to that person, they were like, oh, for example, like, oh, such and such is missing. Can you find them for me? And then your character's like, well, actually, I found them already. Here's what happened. Here's the thing I found off of them. And they're like, oh my gosh, that's great. You already found them. Like, thank you so much for helping out. Like I didn't have to talk to them first. Or you can like go through even some of the main story quests. You can go through like 4 or 5 different ways. Like it's crazy how much different choice, and it just lets you kind of do your own thing. Because in a lot of these kind of action RPGs like Fallout, even though it's an open world and you can make choices, it still sometimes will lean you in towards a path. Like it kind of leads you in a direction, which is not necessarily a bad thing in some cases because, they're trying to tell a story and stuff. But this one literally just says, you're in this world now, do what you want to do. Like, be who you want to be, complete things how you want to complete things, and I give them so much praise for that. I think as of right now, this game I believe is an 85 on Metacritic, which let me pull that up. But while I'm pulling that up, I want to hear your thoughts on your choices. Like, what's some choices that you have done in this game that you didn't think you could even do? Like you were just again, like you were just kind of wandering around and maybe you saw something and did it, and it totally impacted the other part of the game. Like, what were the different choices that shocked you the most?
The big one that I can pull like right off memory right now is that um, in the very first area, your starting area, you pick up a quest. It's a main story quest, so I'm not gonna elaborate on it because I don't want to spoil anything. But in this quest, you have an option to divert um, a resource to one of two places. And this is, of course, after you get Pavardi, your first companion. But while you're exploring in one of the areas, you'll find a little medicinal thing. And it says like experimental medicine. And you pick it up. And I'm thinking, all right, this is something I can sell. Or maybe I can use it. It'll give me like enhanced stats for a little bit or whatever. I didn't think anything of it. I'm thinking, Fallout is like Jet or Psycho or Buff Tat, something
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
that. And so I pick it up and I'm going and I'm like, oh yeah, I had a mission, a little task I had to do. And so as I do this task, I talk to one of the guys. He's like, "Man, if I had this medicine, I'd be okay. I'd be healthy." And my one of my options was, "Oh, well, hey, I found this. Here you go. You can have it." And I was like, "Oh, so that was useful. There was something there. Where the hell did that come from?" And that's kind of goes with what you said about just like jumping in the middle of a quest. If I had talked to him beforehand, he would have given me the quest. He would have talked about it whenever I could have found it. My character probably would have been like, "Oh, this is a medicine so and so needs." But instead, I hadn't. I just completely just jumped into exploring, found it, and I was like, huh. So that's what that does.
Yeah,
And I was gonna say, for me, another really big thing that Obsidian did with your companions is that they will voice their opinions on what you're about to do.
yeah,
You know, if you're about to do something that could change the course of, the society around you, Pavardi, for example, will speak up and say, hey, I really like these people, but if we do this, it's gonna ruin everything. And I can't do that to these people. I can't support that decision. And so then you're sitting there, you're like, oh my god.
yeah, yeah. You're like, oh Jesus, oh man, she might be right. Am I gonna go with what she says or am I not? I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do now. I thought we were on the same page here, but now she's criticizing me for maybe doing the wrong thing. I don't know. Like I don't even know what's
But
wrong.
I thought I was doing the right thing. Hold on. Wait a minute.
And then that's kind of like the building of your character. I feel like at that point, that's kind of like a tutorial of that, where it's like, hey, you can go along with what people say and help them out, or take their advice, or you could say fuck everybody. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and no one's gonna stop me. That's where I feel like that is part the reason why that's in place at the beginning is to kind of show that. Which again, I really like that. You know, I can literally shoot a quest giver in the face and it won't like penalize me for it or it's not going to stop me. Like I could just kill everybody in that town if I wanted to. Even people who give me quests and just keep going on with my life. Like maybe there's some people in there because of like main story quests and stuff that you can't kill or, whatever, but like most of these people it gives me the option to attack and kill them, which someone who could literally give me like 7 or 8 quests throughout the game, I can just end their life near the beginning and never hear from them again. Like they're just gone, which is really really wild. I like stuff like that. Even though personally I would never do that, but I just like again it gives me that option. Just so many options, so many choices. Like I can't stress that enough that if anyone is still considering getting this game because they think it might just be a Fallout clone or, it's not going to live up to snuff for, action RPGs, this in my opinion is the best action RPG we've gotten, I want to say ever. I think this stands at the top, and I don't know if you disagree with me, but I will fight you if you do because this is probably the best one.
Oddly enough, I actually do disagree with you.
Okay,
There are
bring it.
two RPGs, two action RPGs especially, but just RPGs in general that I hold above the Outer Worlds.
I swear to God, if you say Destiny, I'm gonna punch you through this monitor right now.
No, Destiny can kiss my ass.
Okay.
I have
Okay.
a love hate relationship with that game. Uh, the number one that I hold above this one is gonna be Morrowind, Elder Scrolls Morrowind.
No. No
It
way.
was my first RPG. It'll always have a special. Well, I can't say my first. It was my first like big RPG. It'll always have a special place in my heart. I love Morrowind. I hate that they strayed so far from what they did in it. The second one would have to be Fallout New Vegas.
I no. This is way better than Fallout New Vegas.
I am such a diehard Fallout fan, though.
That's the it doesn't even matter at that point. Like this game literally says, "Oh, you like Fallout? Well, here's what you've been missing on." Like we've been so conditioned with Fallout to just accept like the bugs, the shitty faces, the shitty characters, and we're just like, "Hey, it's great." Because nothing has really come to challenge it. And now that something has, it shows us the great things about those. I kind of go, "Oh my god. I can't believe I liked Fallout 3." Like, "Oh my god. This makes Fallout 3 look like garbage." And people are like, "Oh, but that game came out in 2008, 2009. This is 2019." It doesn't matter. This game could have came out in 2008 with shittier graphics. It still would have been way better. Like that's all. That's the only difference I see out of this is that this game just has amazing graphics. That's the differences. Everything else is made to make everything look like shit. And I don't mean I get from where you're coming from with the personal connection. Like I have that same with like Halo. I have that connection with Halo. You know, a lot of people don't think Halo 3 is the greatest Halo, but because I've played that one first, I really enjoyed it. But putting that aside, this stomps anything Bethesda's ever done out of the water. Like there's no question about it.
I mean, I realize that makes me sound like a huge Bethesda fanboy, and I'm really not anymore, especially after the whole Fallout 76 thing that's been
Well,
going on.
I mean to say that. I mean, like, I just saying, like, I get where you're coming from. Again, because when you have that's the great thing about video games is that we have those personal connections with those older games. Like, we do see them probably differently than we should. It's just this kind of opens your eyes and makes you go, "Whoa, that you can actually have that in a game? Oh my god, like that's amazing." And then I'm thinking like, "Oh, well, let me think about even going back to New Vegas. It's just like the potential was that like this game is what I feel like they wanted to do with New Vegas. They just couldn't, either from restraints from the engine or Bethesda told them no. Like I feel like this is the game that they've been trying to make for a long, long time. And back then we only got New Vegas because that's what they would allow. But now that they have those shackles free, they made this. You can't tell me that the dialogue and the characters are better in New Vegas than in this game.
I think the reason that I hold those two in such high regards is because they were like the first big ones I really played. But I think in reality, that's the only reason I hold them in so high regards. Outside of that, Outer Worlds has been I mean, like I said, it's the best game that I've played in probably 2 or 3 years. And that's saying a lot because I've played a lot of Fallout 4, a lot of New Vegas, things like that. But overall, Outer Worlds is what we have been owed from Bethesda. This is even Bethesda's best part. But Outer Worlds is what Bethesda has owed us in a video game that they haven't given us.
Oh, without a doubt. Like you said earlier, like with that Fallout First subscription, it's like we get this, the Outer Worlds, and um, they don't even need to put microtransactions in it. They're just selling us a product, a single player, big story that they probably put time and care and all this love into. And then you look over and say, "Hey, Bethesda, what are y'all doing?" And they say, "Well, we have this first subscription for Fallout 76. It's going to cost you $100 a year. You want it?" And like, no, I'm just going to keep playing the Outer Worlds. Like, I'm just going to run through all the difficulties and have a way better time. I don't need to have an online Fallout game to keep enjoying it for months and even years to come. Like I can come back to this game over and over again. I feel like it's gonna be nice to be like, "Oh, I actually didn't try that with this companion," or "Oh, I didn't do this side mission," or "I could have done it differently. Let me go back and do that again." Because it's only like I'd say I probably finished the main story in probably about 20 to 30 hours, which is not a long time, but I like it being that I guess short. It's not really short, but in terms of an action RPG, that's kind of short. so that if I wanted to try different things, I'm not going to be like, oh, but I have to go through all that work just to get to that bit. Like, I know it's like not going to take me any time at all to go do other things that I wanted to do. So I really appreciate that. And I hope this game, I mean, we have the Game Awards coming up in about a little over a month, maybe about a month and a half, and I hope this game gets a bunch of awards. It deserves it. Um, I think that's gonna wrap it up here, though. We don't want to. We could talk about this all night, but for anyone who hasn't fully played it, go definitely go get it. It's on Game Pass if you have an Xbox. If you have Game Pass, it's on there. You can just download it and play it right now. Otherwise, in my opinion, it's worth the $60. I'd probably even pay $100 for this game and still enjoy it and not feel like my money was wasted. Any final thoughts, Panda, that you want to throw in there before we end it?
For the record, guys, as far as I know, Game Pass is still, as of the making of this video. So if you find this in 3 months and you go look at Game Pass and it's not, that's not my fault. As of us recording this, though, as far as I know, Game Pass is still like $1 for a month or $2 for a month. It's not going to take you a month to beat this game, even if you only play for a couple hours on the weekends. It's just not. It's not that long, but really for $2, it is absolutely 1,000% worth it, guys. This has got to be, like I said, game of the year, probably game of the decade.
Yeah, this is I'm yeah, this is a really good game. I mean, one thing we didn't even touch on either that I'll just mention briefly before we end it is that I have experienced very little bugs with this game, and bugs that don't even really affect it. Only one does, which near the end there's a game breaking bug that crashes the game. That could easily be fixed though. Plus, it didn't stop me from finishing it. It's just basically I had to go through a door, and when I went to that door, it crashed. But there's a door on the other side that you're supposed to exit out of, but you can still enter from. So I just had to run around and enter that, and it worked just fine. So it doesn't even like end the game. Just something with that trigger right there, which they can again easily fix. So that's the only experience I had playing this the entire time is that one thing. Plus maybe when I entered my ship, a few dropped frames, but also I'm playing on an Xbox One S, so it's not the most powerful thing in the world. So it could just be because of the hardware too for those frame rate drops. Um, so very very solid game, very well built, great story, great characters, a lot of choice. So please go check this out, guys. I would not skip this at all. Um, if you're waiting on it, again, it's on Game Pass. Like he said, you get your first month for $1 or two. Otherwise, if you were trying to debate on getting this game or that game and you only had $60 to spend, I would definitely choose The Outer Worlds. It is really good. So that's gonna wrap it up for us, guys. Please check out our other videos on the channel if you guys enjoyed. Leave a subscribe to us and also leave a like. And we will see you guys in the next video. Later.
Later.